Morning. Bruce, where's your sidekick? Where's your girlfriend? Way over there. Hey, listen. See what you started? See what you started? All right, first let's do this. Whoop. Oh my goodness, look at all that dust. Hey, listen, back up. Bruce. We're gonna try it. Hey, quit it. Little ninjas. Ow, stink. You got me. Morning, everybody. Snigger. Chad, Adler Farms. Wind is ripping. I'm gonna do my best to cup this mic so you guys can hear me while we're up here on this hill. Bruce, this is kind of the equivalent of like putting your feet on a table. Nobody wants anybody that does that. Stinger. Hi, Rosie. Hi, sweetie. How you doing? Snicker. So the little goat doesn't have a name because she is going back to the neighbors when we catch her. But man, you talk about fight or flight mode. Watch. Yep. Yep. We will get her. We'll have to feed her in some kind of pen or something. But we'll get her. We'll get her. But she's having fun here right now. She's kind of bonded with Donk. Little Donk. You all right? Hey, buddy. You doing okay? You all right? Ray's actually been able to pet him. He still doesn't come up to me though. That's fine. Everything's fine. All right, let's go see who else needs food. And it's not these three, even though they act like it. You can come say hi now. You gotta come to me. There we go. There we go. Oh, now somebody's jealous, so he's up here too. Someone's jealous. Someone's jealous. Hey, you gotta leave your girl alone. She'll quit giving you them bite marks. Lucy. Donkadonk's actually lost weight since he got here. Like in his hips and stomach area, but the donkeys, in case you guys are new here, and I just learned this, Ray and I did probably a month and a half ago. Donkeys have a real thick, like where their mane is, their hair on the back of their neck, it's called a crest. And if they get overweight, it's like they get fat deposits in there and it can fall over off of their neck. And I don't know that it's like super painful, but it's not comfortable and it never goes back. So that's why they just get what they look for now. I don't even give them cubes. There's the Burger Bros. Junebug. Jesse. Fredo. What's up, buddy? All right, let's get down here and try this before the donkeys get down here. So I've got these really nice panels from Wheeler Metals. I think they're down in, oh boy, I'm gonna say Broken Arrow, but I'm not sure if that's right or not. I'll put it across the screen if it's wrong. These panels set up. We're gonna give these Highlands and these two steers some cubes without making too much noise. I see y'all. Hang on, we gotta do this quick before the donkeys get down here. Here you go, boys. Looking good. Looking good. Not too worried about fly spray today. How do you guys look? The Highlands, it's easy to tell because you just look at their horns. Oh, looking good. Just gonna let them eat in peace. Donkeys are still occupied. Hey buddy, this is our track star 516. You can tell he's even skinnier, which by the way, him running and getting out and all that stuff, it really doesn't have anything to do with him being skinnier. He's just a smaller, he's shorter from shoulder to hip. So he looks a little smaller. We'll get some weight on him for sure. We got some good hay and they love it. This would be a first. This would be a first. You're probably not gonna do it. Nope. Get out of their way though. Jessie. That a girl. That a girl. Good job. So we do that just to keep them gentle, as Gary would say, Gary Walker. And then in time, if we ever have to load them or work them or whatever, which we'll load the Burger Bros obviously, because they'll go for processing, I don't know, 10, 12 months from now. Gonna fill up this one watering trough up here. I had to move this hose yesterday because we had a good old-fashioned impromptu bonfire. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Got to hang out with the local fire department. Even got to talk with the game warden. It was a good day. Ray was really proud. Hi, honey. Love you. Trying to sandwich this behind that rock. There we go. I'll let that fill up. Look at that trailer. Woo-wee. Let's check on our egg situation here. Ruh-roh. Was it just time to be broody? Can I see that? Can I see that? Well, come on. I'm not gonna take one from you. Whoa, you're new. So this is the one that was broody. Now we got another one. Hey, listen, Linda. Those are not all for you. Holy cow. What in the world? Okay. This is a, ow, ow, ow. This is a given, hey, you need a name. Hey, listen, you know what? That kind of stings. That stings, lady. I need more. They're not for you. You can keep one. Goodness. Might need security the rest of this video. Did y'all hear that? Whew, wonder what her beef is. Put these in the truck. Somebody asked me the other day how long you can leave eggs in that coop right there because they get hot or they spoil or whatever. Believe it or not, and we checked, even when it was warm, and I mean like 100, 105 degrees, it never got above about 70 or 80 in that coop, especially those little cabinets. So probably has something to do with the ventilation. Of course, the windows are open, whether the wind's out of the north or the southwest. Got a window on each side, and it just kind of kept it cool in there. When I opened that cabinet where the eggs are at, where's my four-wheeler? When I open that cabinet where the eggs are at, you guys always see like a handful of eggs until the carton is full. Those eggs are only from the day before. They haven't been sitting in there for a month. I don't know about you guys, but I've eaten eggs that sat on a counter for 6 weeks and never had an issue. We don't refrigerate our eggs. I haven't for probably 7 or 8 years, and I'm fine. Excuse me, pardon me. Fredo, looking swole, brother. 518, 516. Don't let me forget to turn that water off, because we used plenty of water yesterday. That was a little deeper than I thought. We got four-wheel drive though. I got my snake boots on. By the way, one of you guys asked me what boots I went with. These are Rocky brand, and they zip all the way up, all the way down. They're comfortable with shorts, and they're waterproof to an extent. I would say water resistant. I wouldn't wear these wading through the creek, but they're pretty slick. We were sponsored by Georgia in the past. They've sent us some boots. They've helped us with boots for the giveaway. The Okie Expo that Dutch and Kevin headed up back in March, they sent some boots over for that, but these I actually purchased myself. But Georgia and Rocky, I think Rocky owns Georgia and a bunch of other brands, but I love their stuff. I've worn it long before I made videos, but I'll link them down below if you guys want them. Totally worth it. And I'll tell you more of why they're totally worth it here in a little bit. Let's talk about trapping. This is a big farm update. I know the thumbnails got you real confused, but stick tight. There's a lot to share. It's a great day. I'm having a great day. What is it? It's 59 degrees, 5'9". Got my teeth cleaned this morning. Feeling pretty stinking good. I got them cleaned at the dentist's office, like instead of brushing them myself. I didn't mean like I just now brushed them for the first time in a long time. Watching for snakes, watching for snakes, watching for snakes. As you guys know, we have a beaver problem. And we have some tracks based on some pictures that I sent my trapping buddy, Trapper Jay. We also have muskrats. And muskrats in Oklahoma are a fur bearer, B-E-A-R-E-R, for those of you unfamiliar with trapping lingo. So people trap them for their fur, just like they do coyotes, raccoons, beavers, everything. Just like trapping's a sport, okay? If you didn't know, it's conservation, but it's a sport. And a lot of people kind of look down on it, but it's a necessity for sure. So, some of you guys are just dying for me to pan the camera around and show you what I did. But we got to talk about trapping first. Okay, in Oklahoma, and I heard this from our game warden over our county firsthand. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt I'm speaking true words. You can look them up if you don't believe me. Coyotes, armadillos, and beavers in the state of Oklahoma are a nuisance. We have more beavers, more coyotes, and more armadillos than we need. And they destroy things. Armadillos can dig huge holes. And of course they do it often like on the side of hills, but sometimes they do it right in the middle of the farm. And you may have a tractor out there, a farmer on a tractor, and he's driving along and he hits a hole, and because of the weight of his tractor, he wrecks and he goes in and people get really, really hurt. You can dispatch those three animals anytime, day or night. You can set traps, any kind of trap you want. I'm not sure about snares that don't release, but I don't use snares anyway, so it's no big deal for me. So this beaver that we've got, and we still have, we can dispatch him 100% anywhere, anytime, just to clarify. Because I've been getting a lot of messages, a lot. In my 2.5 years on YouTube, I've gotten more messages about this and more encouragement to check my local regs, and I've checked. I've done my due diligence, okay? Think of them like feral hogs in most states. Wow. So, I can explain. Yesterday, I had permission to dispatch this beaver, like I said, and track him, and I spent all day out here. I loaded up all these bottom holes in this den with some old oil rags, and I did light them, and I got them to smolder because I needed the smoke, not the fire. I did not know that we were in a burn ban yesterday. We are not just one county over. So I did not get in trouble. Local fire department was awesome. They completely understood. They even told me the way they get rid of beavers, because these guys at local fire, they've lived here their whole lives. They've dealt with beavers. I greatly appreciate it. Called them as soon as something happened. And here's how it went. And here's how I'm gonna validate these snake boots again. Oh man, I know you guys are just dying to look behind me. Hang on. So yesterday, just for reference of where I'm at, just picture me with my little smokies going right here in these dens, these entrances anyway. And my dad called me, Grandpa Adler Farms, because he got a new phone, and I was trying to walk him through setting up a couple things. I looked down, no fire had happened yet, still just trying to smoke the beaver out. And I looked down, and I had actually just shot a water moccasin right here that came out of this mess, because that's beaver made, and I was jumping up and down on top of it, and the water moccasin didn't like it apparently. But I looked down while I was on the phone, and a snake went right around the side of my foot. So I peed a little, and I basically told my dad, I gotta go, I got snakes and beavers, I gotta go, and I hung up. So I dealt with that. Speaking of, there's bubbles right there, which usually indicates a snake. Stay tuned, I'm gonna continue the story. I immediately took a couple steps back, created some space between me and Mr. Snake, put 2 and 2 together, and put him out of his misery. In the process of not panicking and getting that snake to go. Trust me, this is where the story gets good. You can see where I was jumping on it all day yesterday, just trying to wreak havoc. I took that stick and just jammed it in there and pried the outside edge off. Just trying to make old Wally's life miserable enough to leave. But I turned around like this. I took a couple steps up this hill, and this hole right here, I was not filming. These are irrigation pipes that were buried under the grass. Not ours, no big deal to lose them. They would have been nice for conduit, but too late now. But this hole right here, it was only about 8 inches around, and it had a column of fire about 4 feet high flying out of it. And I knew immediately I was gonna need more help than my little garden hose. Called 911, told them what was up. They were here, they put it out. The fire department was totally cool. They were the ones that helped me with what they do for beavers. You know, one guy said, man, I went to like I think it was a 3-acre pond a couple years ago, and he pulled 28 beavers out of that pond. That's how many beavers. That's a beaver problem. That's a really big problem. It had only burned like right through here. It barely got this brush pile, which was everything I cut off the dam. And all was good. Fire department, we shook hands. They went their way, I went mine. We, of course, took care of all the smoldering stuff and everything. But with this wind and as hot as this got, I left about 1:30, ran an errand, went and got Case from school, and made it home. And at 4 o'clock, my neighbor called me and said, dude, your back pasture's on fire. So I ran out here real quick, and sure enough, something I had noticed was still smoldering, and it actually asked the fire department about, and they said, well, it's on this side of the leading edge, and it's in the black, so it shouldn't go anywhere. Well, guess what? It went somewhere. Now that everybody's okay, there was no people in the way, there was no structures, everything's okay, all right? But it did take off, and it took them till about 6 p.m. to get this out. And we'll walk back there here in a little bit. But as you can see, it burned every bit of about, oh, I'd imagine there's 3 acres here, 3 or 4. Burned the whole side of the dam, which wasn't, you know, that didn't bother me one bit. It could have burned longer for all I cared. It cleaned this up, and it kind of helped expose some things, as in some other holes. But it also showed me how dangerous this is, because these are still, those depressions are holes. They're just filled in with ash. Yeah, see that? So you gotta be really careful walking around up here. But look at these dens, and they all connect. Every single one of them. Because when I lit my fires down there, I had smoke coming out up here. But what happened was the wind came rushing in those entrances, and it lit the tree roots on fire. They drag a lot of brush and leaves and things like that with them. And all that inside those holes caught fire. And that's what caused the fire. It definitely showed me how dangerous these dens can be, and how it is definitely a priority. You know, my inkling was what some of you guys suggested, which was, hey, just drive your tractor up here and fill in those holes. Well, I'm not so sure when we get a tractor or an excavator that driving anything is a good idea up here. I don't even know if I'll drive my 4-wheeler up here. But look at how far reaching this is. I mean, this whole entire dam is just filled with more entrances and more holes than I could have ever imagined. It is crazy. Like this whole thing, look at this. Man. So for reference, that's a 13 wide boot. Got a lot of ash up here. I'm trying not to burn my eyes, but see, there's even more. You know, that clearly leads somewhere. This goes back down to the pond. Let's walk over here. You got a large hole there. I would imagine everything I'm walking on is hollow underneath. Yeah, I can feel it. It just kind of bounces under your feet. All right, I'm ground level now, or at least I'm not gonna fall 5 or 6 feet. Might find some interesting stuff back here, you never know. It stopped right before the spillway, or I should say they got it put out right before the spillway. As you guys know, we've been talking to a lot of people about the pond and the dam, and what we should do, and you know, how many trees can you have around your pond. And even those guys yesterday, those firefighters, those super knowledgeable dudes, even they were like, I wouldn't have a single tree around my pond, because like what Josh said at Stony Ridge, when you have trees around your pond, they grow and they grow roots, but then ultimately that tree's gonna die and decay and go away, and then you're gonna have holes in your dam for water to escape. But before the fire, I've never been able to see this. But there's a path right here, and then there's another one on the other side over there. But you can see where the water overflows. Sorry for the turtle, I didn't do that. He may have got crushed yesterday when they were driving their field trucks around. But it comes down here, and then there's a pretty significant drop right there. I'll see if I can get you down there. But all of these trees, anything you see needs to go. We do not want it on the backside of our dam and our overflows, even these huge ones. So it's okay. We were gonna cut them down anyway. But a lot of deadfall stuff too. I mean, some of these trees are just limping along. They've been here years. I mean, those are some pretty oaks, but they are right on the side of the dam. And I'm even kind of concerned that if we take these trees out, that's just gonna speed up their roots decaying and causing holes. But I'm starting to think more and more that we just need to hire somebody to dig this dam out and reshape it. But you can see how far that fire spread. It did go all the way to the fence. It went all the way to the neighbors. The way I understand it, the neighbors one actually called. Without making a joke of it or light of it, you guys have taught me that it's actually very beneficial to burn your pastures. Now, you don't do it on a windy day, you don't do it in a burn ban, and you don't do it without water. He was not too upset that some of his pasture burned. And may have made a joke that maybe he should have waited a little bit to call, got a little bit more of his pond cleared, or a little bit more of his land burned off. You never know when the wind's blowing how fast something's gonna spread. So I was actually talking to our neighbor to the north of us, and he said when the previous owner sold this place, he had to actually eradicate some beavers out of these overflows, even though they're on our property. Now, we didn't own it yet, but he said there was 4 or 5 back here, and it took him forever to get them out. He said that right there, that's that ridge Adler and I always drive over. That was absolutely a dam that the beavers built. So this used to be all one big water area, and it's probably, oh, I bet it's 100 feet, and it's probably 2 feet, 3 feet deep in some spots. And the beavers cut it right in half to hold water on this side. This has become our cow's favorite spot because it's shaded and it holds water when we're not in a drought. These trees do have to come out. This is the back of the spillway here. So we're on the very back of the pond, and I don't know what I don't know how flat it makes it look, but that's every bit of like 12 feet over my head. That's where we were just standing up there. Man, I still smell, I got smoke in my throat. It's gonna be a while. Some of these are gonna smolder for a long time. But see, like these trees aren't even, I mean, some of these trees are dead and they're dangerous too. Look at this. So that's where we just were, the spillway. You've got a mess right there. You got this tree right here. I'm not even sure that this tree is alive. I think that's just like vinage growing on it. Is that a word? It is now. Looks like a beaver did a number on that one. But there even appears to be a den right on the other side of that. These are willow trees, and they're really bad for your pond, and they can grow like 4 feet a year. I think those are black willow. But they're really bad. All these are bad. By the way, I appreciate you guys watching very, very much. If this seems like a lot of work, this is land development. This is farm development. Don't buy a farm if you don't want to do this. Or if you're going to buy a farm that somebody else has already done all this work, I can tell you right now, it'd be what Ray and I paid for this place. When we get all this done, I wouldn't sell it for 3 times what we paid when all this is said and done. But I love it. I love projects. I love having things to do. I come out here every day, whether I got Adler, Case, or Carter, or whoever wants to come, or whoever's in school, or come by myself. And this is what I do. I just hang out. I find projects. That was already down. That was dead. But again, this is just more dirt. This might be a good spot for an actual pond that they can wade in. But that tree out there, that might need to come down quicker rather than later. I will say this, one thing the fire does, which obviously I know, it gives you a better look at things. Like, I wish I could just do it. I know we can, probably here in a couple months when it gets cooler and we've got some good rain, but it gives you a really good look at your terrain, your topography, like the highs and lows of your land. What's rocks, what's dirt, what's trash. But this is the area we just had brush hogged. And at first when it happened, I was kind of bummed because I'm still new to this. You know, I was like, man, we just spent money to get this brush hogged. They did a great job. I was kind of bummed, but my dad and one of the firefighters out here pointed out real quickly, if this hadn't been brush hogged, it would have burned twice as hot and twice as fast. So even though it was a whoops in certain terms, it was a good whoops. I'm not going to show you too much of my neighbor's pasture. I don't have permission to go over there or film or anything like that, but it didn't make it as far as you'd think. They were on it pretty stinking quick, but it did burn a little bit. And I know someone, like I said, candidly made a joke that they should take their time and let it burn a little bit. These are some of those berms that we need to take care of, but you can see where animals have made their home out of just about everything back here. Who knows what's going in there? Who knows? So here's a better look at it. Wow. So here's a grander look at it from the side of the pond right here. I did find though, because of all this being burned off, the extent of the dens that these animals dig is unreal. So these were some old rags I had in my truck, and I plugged a hole right there when I was trying to smoke the beaver out. And by the way, muskrats are a fur bearer, so I cannot trap those until December 1st. But a muskrat will do more damage than a beaver and multiply quicker. So they need to go too. So either way, we're gonna be trapping the muskrats in December. It's not like they can do any more damage to that dam than's already been done, but I just wanted to clarify that because I'm not sure if I did. That's why I show you guys this stuff. You know, I grew up, I've never even seen a raccoon until 2 or 3 years ago. Like, not one that was like, you know, determined to destroy my chickens. Like, I'd seen a raccoon, I knew what they were, but I had no idea how vicious they are and how cruel. A raccoon can go into your chicken coop, kill a dozen chickens, and it barely eats, but it leaves them all dead. I mean, it's crazy. It's so cruel. I don't want to be whatever, but if you're going to kill my chickens, at least fill up your belly. And the same goes for beavers. The only beaver I've ever been around or know about is the one at Bass Pro, the wildlife aquarium in Springfield. I've been there a couple times, taking the boys. Yeah, that's my experience with beavers. I've never seen one. I've never seen one swimming. I had no idea that we had a beaver on the pond the first time I saw it. And now here I am. We've owned this land since May. And a beaver is like my nemesis, man. I eat, sleep, and breathe about it. I told Ray, I said, this beaver is consuming my life. It's all I think about. I mean, I'm there for Ray. I'm there for the boys. We do homework. We're a family. But when I get alone time, I'm like, dadgummit, Wally. But this property sat vacant for 7 years. So who even knows if Wally was the main culprit, you know? We do believe there's just one. I'm gonna go show you why here in a second. We thought there was two. We've had a couple of instances where the beaver would smack the water with his tail and then dive underwater. and we'd lose him and he'd pop up like way over there. So we were like, man, maybe there's two. He's not here now. I do know this, when you walk up on a beaver, you sneak up on one, whatever, the first thing they do is slap the water with their tail and alert the other animals. They don't just like chill and hang out. Like they're not shy. They can be kind of aggressive. So after being out here yesterday from about 8 o'clock in the morning after getting the boys off to school, I was out here until 6 p.m. last night trying to get this beaver, figure out where he's at, wreck his house, wreck his condo, his mansion. I was just trying to destroy it, and he never showed. He never showed up. I plugged the holes on the back of the dam. I left a few open so I could, you know, maybe isolate his exit. He never showed. And I thought, what in the world? That is one magical, angry beaver. So at 8 p.m. last night, all the fires are out, everybody's home, and Ray and I are standing in the kitchen, and we were using the camera on that pole right there. Which, by the way, I don't mind showing you where that camera is because I'll see you on camera long before you find that camera. But Ray and I are standing in the kitchen talking about the day, and we're checking that camera because they'd left some things smoldering out here. And of course, night vision, it shows heat. It looks like a flame, even though it's not on fire. So we were just watching, making sure nothing was getting out of control. Our neighbors knew, hey, if you see orange, just call. We left the gate open, that kind of thing. But we're sitting there. I already found it. I already see it. We're sitting there in the kitchen, and we got this camera up on our phones, the view of it. And son of a buck, guess who walks into frame with his big, wide, 2-foot-long tail? You guys see that trail? Look at this. This is our neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. A. Everybody say howdy. That is an animal trail right there. You see how this has got a little depression to it? Here, let me back up. There you go. See that right there? Look at that. There's one. There's actually another one. This one looks older and not used. And then there's some that, look at this, see this? Can you guys tell? Can you see that depression? That stinking beaver was not even in our pond yesterday when I did all this work. When I camped out. When I tried to smoke him out and take care of him, he wasn't even home. He was at the neighbors in their pond. Whew. But yeah, his little self about 8:30 at night, just from the fence over there, right down here, and over there to our pond. I told Ray, I said, I gotta go. And she said, do it. What you did all day, you should go get that beaver. So I took off. It takes about 10, 12 minutes to get here. I got here, it's just pitch black, man. I do have a spotlight, a big one, but it was just too hard to see. I heard him smack the water. He was here, man. He was here. He was within 20 yards of me in any direction. He was right below me in the water. But yeah, he's pond hopper is what he is. Yeah, we watched him come through those animal trails right down here with his long old tail following him. He walked right through here. There's no video, we just watched him do it. We didn't record. Now the donkeys come through here too, that's why it's a little bit bigger. And he got right here and he got real confused because everything had changed. But it didn't stop him. Nope. He just went to work building. So you know that whole theory about old Wally being a pond hopper? I just went over to our neighbor's pond. There's not a single sign of a beaver. There's no slides, there's no tracks. Their pond's a little bigger than ours. It's hard to tell with the drought right now. And I didn't film over there because I haven't talked to him. I'm sure they wouldn't mind, but you know, that's not where the beaver's at. That's not where he's coming from. I don't have a clue where he's coming from. I don't know, he's a mystery beaver. Either that, or he follows the golden rule of don't poop where you eat. So he comes over here and eats. He goes over there and poops. And he sleeps somewhere in the middle. I don't know. You got me, Wally. You got me. Where's Fred? What'd y'all do with Fredo? More like what'd Fredo do with Fredo? You getting hay? No. Down the pond? No. What's that? All right, we got to drive over there because I don't think I can zoom this far. Let's go run over there and check. Make sure he's on this side of the fence. Oh man, I was way off. That's not Fred. We'll have to go find Fred. Sorry, Fred, I told your girlfriends you were talking to another girl. But look, let's see how close we can get. Check this out. Oh, man. Onyx. What's she doing? Huh? Oh, my goodness. So, Onyx, this is my neighbor's, I believe she's a Highland Dexter. And that calf isn't very old. Do we still have some afterbirth? No. Oh man, look at the little baby. Hey, can you come this way and take a pee for us? No? Okay, thank you. Whoop. Make sure she's all right. Oh yeah, she's good. She was just resting. Wow. Now we gotta go find Fred. I don't know where in the world he went. Man, isn't this gorgeous? Look how clean that property looks now. My goodness. What a blessing. We still get a few comments every now and then, by the way, where somebody says, man, your property's a mess, or something like this, something like that. And, you know, I don't take it to heart because it's one comment. You know, this is a work in progress. And my family and I are working very, very hard to have a loving wife and my boys now that support me coming out here every day and doing what I do and filming. And, you know, when I'm not filming like yesterday, I start fires and chase beavers. I'm just so blessed that this is my life. I have wanted to do this. This has been my dream for probably, you know, we got chickens almost 8 years ago. And 8 years ago, if you'd told me I'd own 3 Highlands and 6 alpacas and, you know, 2 steers and donkeys and a pond and 20, I'd say, yeah, I'd love that. What a blessing. But I wouldn't have bought it. I wouldn't have bought into it. And I'm a doer. I'm a go-getter. You know, I'll make it happen. But if you'd have told me, I wouldn't have believed you. You know, I don't ever want to lose sight of the hard work that's gone into this. And I don't mean the brush hogging. I mean the conversations with the sellers and being blessed with somebody who wants to bless you with land to purchase, especially in this market. I'll never lose sight, and I strive to do that, especially the older I get, the wiser I get, right? Anytime I tell somebody, you know, you know, this is what I would do, this is what I do, they say, man, that's really grown up, that's really wise. I'd say, well, I grew up yesterday. Because I truly feel like every day I learn a little bit more about what it means to be an adult and a man and a dad and a husband. And there's so much more to life. I'm so blessed. We're so happy. You know, I can't thank you guys enough. And if you told me that I'd be married with another little boy, you know, here we are, and I couldn't be happier. But anyway, we have so much coming. And if you've been following us on social media, I am in talks with the tractor company. And the hard work that goes into a point where you can work with a company like this and something like this can take place, the amount of work that goes into that is unreal and very deserving. And I'm very, very grateful for the support and the outpour for you guys to encourage that company to work with us. And that company even made note of our supporters and that helping base their decision to go this avenue with us. And we're still in the works. We're still ironing some things out, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. And I owe that to you guys directly. And I just can't thank you enough for everything. With that said, I'm going to go get back to work. I'm going to figure out where in the world Wally's going at night. We're going to get him. It's going to happen. I got the green light from the game warden, tips from the local fire department. Those boys are volunteers. They're country boys. They're born and raised here. I know what to do. I know how to do it. I have the traps. I got lures coming from Trapper J. Wally's got to go, and we're going to make it happen. Don't worry. Then we'll reshape that dam. We'll dredge the pond. We'll build a house. We'll do it all in God's time. Because my entire life, every time I rushed God, well, it never went the way I thought it was going to go. With that said, y'all be good. Don't work too hard. Don't make it weird. God bless. Deuces. See you guys.